Welcome back to day 2 of the Mineral Resources Review 2025 here at the Delta Hotel. Today's thought leadership is sponsored by Raleigh Drilling and brought to you by Gale Force Winds. So our next guest is no stranger to Gale Force Winds. I think, Stanley, you've probably been the most interviewed for Gale Force Winds. So Stanley Oliver, again, no stranger to Newfoundland and Labrador. And I hear, Stanley, that you now have a new role.
I do.
You're with the Labrador North Chamber of Commerce.
That's correct, Jackie.
So
Thank you.
tell us a little bit about your new role. I think this is a great opportunity for you to share with all your followers what your next adventure is. Stanley?
First of all, thank the Gale Force for interviewing again, and yourself. Always a pleasure to be here. So I was with Trades NL as the Indigenous manager for quite a while, 5 years, and then Labrador North Chamber of Commerce set up what's referred to as Special Project Office. And the aim of the Special Project Office is to facilitate conversations between the business community of Upper Lake Melville and Labrador in general, the 3 Indigenous groups, and people who want to understand how to navigate through Indigenous governance in territories like Labrador. So that's my role, is to help them understand it, create conversations, work towards workforce development, meaning putting young people to work in major projects. Gull Island, transmission lines, minerals, wind development, and I'm sure you can relate, being from HR projects, about the importance of building a qualified workforce.
Absolutely, Stanley. And, you know, there's a lot happening in Labrador. So, you know, I think this is a great position. Very happy to hear, you know, that the Chamber, you know, was given the opportunity to have this Special Projects Office to, as you said, help facilitate and navigate for companies that, you know, want to do business in Labrador, want to engage with the First Nations groups in Labrador and just Labradorians in general. So tell us, I know it's a fairly new role, so tell us what some of the plans are, you know, the short term, long term, if you're able to speak to that.
Yeah, I think some of our short-term plans, well, obviously, is the establishment of the office and hiring particular staff. One of the things we're looking at is, in order to get the community ready, the business community ready, we need more housing. So it's hard to attract staff and or build employment opportunities if you have nowhere to stay. So how do we work with the community, town council of Happy Valley Goose Bay, the Goose Bay Airport Corporation, the 3 Indigenous groups, doing an infrastructure housing review. So what's required to help facilitate more housing in the community? Not unlike Lab City. It's hard and then the young people can't usually stay because the rent is so high.
And so it's housing, but it's also affordable housing at all stages of people. So
economic development also needs to be aware that there's an environmental, social responsibility by companies. So how do we do that together rather than being combative? And so that's what the office set up for. You know, we're looking at major projects. Chamber of Commerce was very forward thinking in the last couple of years under the direction of the board and the CEO, Julianne. And so how do we do that with companies who may have an interest? And we get you know yourself, Jack, we get the questions all the time.
Inquiries all the time.
So, you know, we always say, if you're going to come to Labrador, come talk to us first.
And Labrador is a land of opportunity.
Absolutely.
You know, Stanley, you know, coming from the Lab West area, spent many years there, you know, involved in mining, and now with all the energy work that's happening or, you know, about to happen. You know, it's great to have that office, and it's really good to know that, you know, you guys are there and you are no stranger to Labrador and to this province and facilitating and networking. You know how to do that very well.
Well,
and you know who's who.
Well, as a born Labrador person, you know, an Indigenous person, seen lots of development come and go. You know, we always want people to come and talk to us. But, you know, the Chamber of Commerce and North Chamber of Commerce is very supportive of the development of Gull Island. And if it takes a little longer to get to that development, that's okay. Because it gives the community time to get ready. So if there's a pause in the development, that's okay.
Yep.
If there's Indigenous groups that got to have referendums, if the province got to work towards understanding the project through review, that's okay. But we're very supportive of moving the project ahead. And we're going to be ready for it this time, because we weren't necessarily ready for Muskrat. But this time, we're hoping to be ready.
Well, I think there's a lot of lessons learned from Muskrat to help pave the way for better preparation. So,
Absolutely.
And it sounds like the Special Projects Office is one of those avenues to do that. So, is the plan to have more staff, in the Special Projects Office?
Oh, yes, we will.
Okay.
We're hopefully to have more staff or a research, somebody that can look at lessons learned, as you referred to. The inquiry from Muskrat Falls. There are other projects in Canada, Manitoba, Alberta that went through similar situations, so we can learn from those things. And let's hope again to be ready for the project. And that's all about Special Projects Office.
Amazing. So where are you located? In the chambers?
Yeah, we're at the Happy Valley Goose Bay in town. We're at 11 Cherrywood Drive. There's only me there yet, but drop in anytime. We have a fine boardroom. Coffee pot's always on, and we'll talk about economic development.
Wonderful. And of course, Stanley, you're not hard to get hold of. I mean, you are on LinkedIn, you're all over the place. So, and again, Stanley is no stranger to the economic development and advancement of, energy, mineral, mining, anything in our province. So it's always a pleasure to chat with you, Stanley. And thank you so much for coming on and talking a little bit about the Special Projects Office and what your role is and the mandate.
And again, thank you guys, and thank you. And Gale Force, it's always a pleasure to chat.
Absolutely.